When Rick and I began ministry in Honduras, one of the first things Armando Mesa did was introduce us to the prison. I was naive, and I'm glad I was at the time, because we walked behind closed doors and then closed bars, and we found ourselves in isolation. Not even the guards would come in to the house where we were, because it was the gang house. We met Isabel, and to be honest with you, she was one of the ones I just didn't like. I later found out if girls became Christians, she was strangling them or cutting them. However, God loved her. He loved her with his mighty, powerful love. And unbeknownst to me, she had slipped into the back, and this time she listened. And she heard a presentation of the gospel. And in God's amazing way, he revealed himself to her. And she came forward. For 45 minutes, we had volunteers praying as Mary and I talked with Isabel. And you could see Isabel go back and forth and back and forth. The reason she even came that day was because her plans were to return to her cell and to kill herself. And instead, in God's mercy and grace, she walked into everlasting life. After Isabel got saved, when we would go each week, she would beg us to find her brothers and sisters. And we would explain to her, Isabel, we cannot go into the barrio you're asking us to go into. First of all, we don't know where it is. Second of all, you're talking about in a city of over 1 million people. And third, if we managed to find out where it was, we couldn't go in because we wouldn't come out alive. But I told her, I said, Isabel, we serve a God who sees. And we're going to pray to the God who sees. And he'll send somebody. That's what our prayer is going to be, is that he'll send somebody. And some kids knocked on our door 2 weeks after we began that prayer to the God who sees. Rick lowered some bananas down off of the balcony, and I watched these children, these street kids, just devour those bananas. And they were so dirty, and they were so filthy. And they were so hungry and so needy in so many levels. As we began to minister to those kids, I realized that it was God who had sent them to my door, because when we were driving to the prison, that the kids found our car, and they were all around us as we had slowed down on this particular street. And one of them reached in and grabbed the picture. And I watch as she looks at the picture, and I hear her as she raises it up and she screams to her cousin, Michelle, they know Isabel. They've got pictures of your sister, Isabel. And as that sunk into my mind, I raced back through time. We had been praying with Isabel to the God who sees for 8 months. And within 2 weeks of that initial prayer, God moved us from one house to the other and sent those kids to our door. We didn't have to find their door. God sent them to ours. He is a God who sees, and he is a God who works in miraculous ways to meet our every need, and he answers prayer.